Hey, hello everyone! Welcome to the Risk Room, where we share a safe space to talk about taking chance in every situations, especially business. Well, we are going to talk about a new interesting topics. Stay tuned for the next episode. What do you think our topic for today? I am Chimpaka, your host for today's sessions, and we are going to understand risk appetite, risk capacity, risk tolerance, and risk attitudes, and most crucially, how they are linked, related to each other. Do you guys see two empty seats here? So before that, let's welcome our honorable guests, Professor Arnold and Professor Evelyn, into our studios. Hello. Hi. So, we will be discussing this topic with their guidance throughout their experience in financial world. First thing first, on the surface, right? We understand generally that risks are crucial parts of a business. It's impossible to completely eliminate risks. So, successful business owners frequently take calculated risks and help them to outperform the competitors, gain customer trust, and generate revenue. So back to our topic, can you explain to us what is the difference between risk appetite and risk tolerance?
There is a lot of confusion in this area, and I think that's because this topic is quite a recent topic of development in the business world, and there is no real consensus on how risk is defined. Also, there are a lot of other related terms, like you said just now, risk appetite, risk tolerance, risk capacity, and risk attitude. Okay, so they are kind of related and have a lot of overlapping definition. So to dispel this confusion, we start with the first principle, which is risk appetite. Risk appetite is the amount of risk a project or organization are willing and prepared to accept or retain in pursuing its objective. Next, we have risk tolerance. Risk tolerance is closely related to their ability to cope with the outcomes of the risk. Should that risk occur, do they have the system, process, resource, and controls in place to deal with and therefore tolerate the risk? So now we can compare risk appetite and risk tolerance. While risk appetite is about the amount of risk an organization or a project is prepared to pursue, risk tolerance is about what the organization or project can actually cope with.
Oh, I see. Now we know. Well, how about the risk capacity? From my understandings itself, it is maximum amounts of risk that we can take or bear without affecting our finance.
That's right. Risk capacity is about how much risk an organization or project can take on without jeopardizing its financial stability or other key objectives. This may sound quite a lot like risk tolerance, so let's compare the difference between risk tolerance and also risk capacity. Risk tolerance is about how much risk an organization can cope with in terms of processes and also systems. Risk capacity is about how much loss an organization can bear arising from that risk.
Alright, that's very clear. So lastly, we have a risk attitude. Could you explain to me what risk attitude is, and if I may ask Professor Evelyn, what kinds of risk attitudes are you?
Risk attitude is a chosen state of mind in response to uncertainty that could have a positive or negative impact on their objectives. It's a disposition that can be adopted consciously or subconsciously, and is often influenced by a variety of factors, including perception, rational situational factors, subconscious heuristics, emotions, financial status, financial goals, and also personality. Risk attitude can be categorized into three broad types. The first one is risk averse, which is a low tolerance for risk and a tendency to see risk as more significant than they actually are. And then the second one is risk seeker, It is higher tolerance for risk and a tendency to underestimate the severity of risk. And the third one is risk neutral. It is a middle ground on the risk attitude spectrum. So to answer the host question just now, I am personally a risk seeker investor where I see risk as an opportunity, not a threat, and a good challenge for me. Because I love high returns and I'm trying to maximize my profit, but that doesn't mean I will recklessly invest everywhere that gives me high return. I also do need to analyze based on my capacity.
So, I have these questions. How are these risks actually connected to each other? What about your point of view, Professor Iman?
Okay, first of all, let's say that I want to invest in cryptocurrency that give me high returns, right? Okay, so since high return is usually associated with high risk, which means risk appetite, my willingness to accept the high risk, but I still need to consider my financial constraint or income stability, which will be the risk capacity that I have. I can invest in it if I don't have enough funds, right? So then this will depend on my tolerance toward that risk. It could either be high or low tolerance, which may hesitate me to make a decision. Can I tolerate if my investment went down up to 10%? What should I do after that? Feeling sad, depressed, or angry? Would I sell it right away?
So now that makes sense. So each of them has been connected since the beginning, right? So every step or decision you make has its own risk attitude. Am I right, Professor Lee?
Yes, correct. Our attitude has its pros and also cons. So recently, my friend, my coworker, Kelly, is about to make a big decision on behalf of her client. So I know she is a risk-averse person. So she is more cautious, values predictability, and believes the slow and steady pace mantra. She leans towards investment in government bonds and also avoiding volatile investments such as crypto. I believe she's not emotionally prepared if values drop because I have seen her calling a meeting to re-evaluate before. But ironically, her client base does have the financial capacity to take the risk. So they have long-term horizons and diverse portfolios. The cons is that her attitude towards risk influences her decision, resulting in her client to miss out on high returns.
Okay, to wrap up our today's sessions, so I would like to say thank you for Professor Ainos and also Professor Evelyn for coming and joining us today. Make this a good sessions. So, thank you for everyone for listening to us, and I hope to see you again. Bye. See you next time.